Hi, welcome back to Anatomy channel. This is Dr. Rachita. We shall continue with the anterior abdominal wall. In my previous session, we have learnt about the skin superficial fascia of anterior abdominal wall. And today we shall continue with the muscles of anterior abdominal wall. In anterior abdominal wall is majorly formed by four muscles which are called as external oblique, internal oblique, transversus abdominis and rectus abdominis muscle. And there are two small muscles which are called as cremaster and pyramidalis, which are also included under anterior abdominal wall. So we shall start first with external oblique muscle. External oblique muscle, it is similar to external intercostalis muscle in the thorax, and it gets origin by 8 digitations. So the 8 digitations gets origin from lower 8 ribs. So the outer surface of the middle of the shaft will give origin to the external oblique muscle. Upper 4 digitations will interdigitate with the serratus anterior muscle, and lower 4 digitations will interdigitate with the latissimus dorsi muscle. After its origin, the external oblique muscle runs forwards and downwards. So we can see it runs like how we keep our fingers in our pocket, like it runs forwards, downwards and medially. And before its insertion, it forms a flat thin aponeurosis. So we shall see the insertion of external oblique muscle from above downwards. It gets inserted to the lower tip of xiphoid process, and the muscle forms a sheath which forms a rectus sheath covering the rectus abdominis muscle. Further it ends up forming a median raphe. The median raphe which is present in the midline which is called as linea alba. The linea alba is the median raphe where all the anterolateral abdominal muscles, they interdigitate in the midline forming the linea alba. So after getting inserted to the linea alba, down it inserts to the pubic symphysis, pubic crust and pectineal line of pubis. And it also inserts to the iliac crust. So the iliac crust, anterior 2/3 and outer lip of the iliac crust. And further the external oblique muscle here in between the anterior superior iliac spine and pubic tubercle, it folds itself forming a ligament which is called as inguinal ligament. So that is about the origin and insertion of external oblique muscle. Nerve supply of external oblique muscle, it is supplied by lower 6 thoracic nerves. And we can see here there is an opening in the lower medial part of external oblique. This opening is called as superficial inguinal ring, which is a triangular aperture which continues to form the inguinal canal. So let's see about the internal oblique muscle. Internal oblique muscle gets origin from down, that is from the iliac crust inguinal ligament it gets origin, and it runs upwards, forwards, medially, just opposite to external oblique muscle. It runs right angles to external oblique muscle. Internal oblique muscle is similar to internal intercostal muscle present in the thoracic region. So external oblique muscles runs forwards, downwards, medially. Internal oblique muscle runs from down, medially, upwards, interdigitating at 90 degrees with external oblique muscle. So let's see the origin. Internal oblique muscle, it gets origin from anterior 2/3 of the intermediate area of the iliac crust, and it also gets origin from the 2/3 of the lateral 2/3 of the inguinal ligament, and it gets origin from the thoracolumbar fascia. Further it runs upwards and it gets inserted to the uppermost fibers gets inserted to lower 3 to 4 ribs, and further it forms a flat aponeurosis which forms a part of rectus sheath, and which we will discuss it later, and it gets inserted to the costal cartilages of 7th, 8th, 9th costal cartilages, and uppermost fibers gets inserted to the xiphoid process and anteriorly to the linea alba and further down till the lower part of the linea alba, and it also gets inserted to the pectineal line and pubic crest of pubis. So that is about the insertion of internal oblique muscle. Internal oblique muscle continues to form cremaster muscle, and it also takes part in the formation of a conjoint tendon. The next muscle after internal oblique is the transversus abdominis. The transversus abdominis is named because the fibers run transversely. It gets origin as a fleshy origin from the thoracolumbar fascia. It gets origin from the anterior 2/3 of the iliac crest, that is inner lip of the anterior 2/3 of the iliac crest, and lateral 1/3 of the inguinal ligament. It gets origin from lateral 1/3 of inguinal ligament, and it also gets origin from the costal cartilages, inner surface of the costal cartilages of 7th, 8th, 9th ribs, and it ends forming a flat aponeurosis which takes part in the formation of rectus sheath, and it gets inserted to the xiphoid process, linea alba, pubic crest, pectineal line. So that is about the insertions, and the lower fibers of the transversus abdominis joins with the internal oblique fiber muscles, means the lower part of internal oblique and lower part of transversus abdominis, they join to form conjoint tendon. And next we shall see about the rectus abdominis muscle. The name rectus means straight because it is running straight in the midline, so it is called rectus abdominis muscle. It gets origin by two heads, medial head and lateral head. The medial head gets origin from the medial part of pubic crest, and lateral head gets origin from the lateral part of the pubic crest. Vertically, the fibers run upwards to get inserted to the xiphoid process, and it cuts to get inserted to the 7th, 6th and 5th costal cartilages. On its way, we can see some tendinous intersections, and there are three tendinous intersections which we can see over rectus abdominis muscle normally. First is at the level of umbilicus. The second is the midway between the xiphoid process and the umbilicus is the second, and the third is near to the xiphoid process, just lateral to the xiphoid process. Sometimes we may find incomplete or complete tendinous intersection below the umbilicus also. It is not seen in all, and these tendinous intersections may show that the rectus abdominis muscle embryologically might have developed in segments. That is the reason we are seeing these tendinous intersections. But functionally, it makes the rectus abdominis muscle a very strong muscle because the number of fibers are increased because of these tendinous intersections. So that is about the rectus abdominis muscle. All these muscles are supplied by lower 6 thoracic nerves, and external oblique is supplied by lower 6 thoracic nerves, and rest of the muscles, that is internal oblique, transversus abdominis and rectus abdominis, are supplied by lower 6 thoracic and first lumbar nerves. Okay, that is about the nerve supply. And then action of the muscles, external oblique, internal oblique, all these oblique muscles, anterolateral muscles, they maintain the tone to protect the internal organs in the abdomen. As we know, there are no bones anteriorly in the abdomen to protect the internal organs. So these muscles protect the internal organs by toning up themselves. And all the expulsive acts like defecation, vomiting, micturition, coughing, sneezing, all these are because of anterior abdominal muscles. And forward flexion of the abdomen, it is done by rectus abdominal muscle, and lateral rotation is by external oblique and internal oblique on opposite side. This is a dissected specimen to show the anterior abdominal wall. Here the skin, superficial fascia are removed to expose the most superficial muscle in the anterior abdominal wall is the external oblique, which is present anterolaterally on the either side, and it gets origin from the lower 8 ribs as fleshy part we can see, and it continues to form the aponeurosis, and which forms a part of rectus sheath, and it gets inserted about the xiphoid process, in midline to the linea alba, and below down inferiorly it gets inserted to the pubic symphysis, pubic crest, pectineal line of pubis, and it also gets inserted to the iliac crest, outer lip of the iliac crest, anterior 2/3, and it lower free border forms the inguinal ligament. It gets folded to form the inguinal ligament, and posteriorly also it has got the free border, and superiorly also it has got the free border. This is also a dissected cadaver showing the anterior abdominal wall, and here we can see the umbilicus. On the either side of the umbilicus, the muscle present is rectus abdominis. Lateral to the rectus abdominis, after reflecting external oblique muscle, here internal oblique muscle is seen. Internal oblique muscle gets origin posteriorly from thoracolumbar fascia, and anterolaterally it gets origin from the iliac crest, that is from the intermediate area of anterior 2/3 of iliac crest, and it also gets origin from the 2/3 of lateral part of inguinal ligament, and it runs upwards, and uppermost fibers gets inserted to the lower 2 or 3 ribs, and it also gets inserted to the costal cartilages, 7th, 8th, 9th costal cartilages, and midline it gets inserted to the linea alba, and before reaching linea alba it forms a part of rectus sheath, and inferiorly the internal oblique joins with the transverse abdominis to form the conjoint tendon. And we can see the rectus abdominis, which is a vertically running muscle here, which gets origin from the pubic crest as medial and lateral heads, and runs vertically upwards to get inserted to the xiphoid process and 5th, 6th, 7th costal cartilages. And the two rectus abdominis, right and left, are separated by midline white color raphe, which is called as linea alba. And we can also appreciate the fascia of Camper, which is the fatty layer present within the superficial fascia. Here this is the next specimen to show the intertendinous intersection. Intertendinous intersections are seen between the segments of rectus abdominis muscles. There are 3 intertendinous intersections. One is at the level of umbilicus, and the upper one is at the level of xiphoid process. Middle one is in the midway between the xiphoid process and the umbilicus, and here is the infraumbilical part, and midline is the linea alba. In my next session we shall continue with the rectus sheath and fascia transversalis, which are related to the anterior abdominal muscles. And thank you. I hope you like my session. Please like, share, subscribe, and press the bell button for further notifications. Bye.